Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bourbon Obsessed podcast. I am Ed from BourbonObsessed.com, also Bourbon_Obsessed on Instagram. I'm here today with Barry Brinegar from RD1, who I say is the hardest working man in bourbon. If you've got RD1 where you live, I'm sure Barry has been there many times. So.
Thanks, Ed. Man, I'm super excited to come and talk about our new brand destination, and we've got a special bourbon rye blend that we're going to talk about. But man, thanks so much. I really appreciate you opening up your house on Easter Day. I think that anytime is a great time.
Of course, we went to church earlier.
Of course, we went to church earlier. I'm an early riser, so definitely went to church, and now I'm sitting here drinking bourbon with you.
Yeah, so this is going to be big news. So it's like 3 weeks from now that the new brand destination opens?
Yep. So the new brand destination in Lexington, Kentucky, it's on Main Street. It's in the Commons Lex. As you're going out of town from downtown, you pass the Lexington Cemetery, go over that viaduct, and then there's 40 acres there. That's the Commons Lex. We are open now unofficially. You could actually come in and do a tasting with us, but we will legally be able to open probably May 1st. And we've got a VIP ribbon cutting and VIP event that I'm hoping you're going to be there. You're on the list, but it is an
invite. The day off, so I can.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So we plan that. But we're super excited. The new brand destination in the Commons Lex is 10,000 square feet. It's going to highlight the production of bourbon. It's going to talk about the history of RD1 being Lexington's first registered distillery, but then writing that next chapter of what more can Kentucky bourbon do with wood finishing. And with our research and development master distiller, he will be in the wood science lab. He'll be in a white coat. You could come in and see Jared Gollahue, also known as Dr. Wood, and talk about all things wood finishing.
It's like a James Bond movie.
Like a James Bond movie. I mean, we'll have all of these research items, it'll be kind of like the Willy Wonka of going into a distillery and seeing what kind of flavors that we can produce with wood.
So if people stopped in now, you said, are you actually your staffed, or do they need to get a hold of somebody in advance until May 1st? Or
so we are staffed there, and it's kind of like if you come over to a house, we open up our bourbon bar and we're sampling, but legally we can't bill anybody because we don't have our license.
So it's a great time to come.
It's a great time. Yeah, you want to come now. You want to come now until we can officially start charging you. So now's the time to go.
Yeah. Sounds like it. So what's going to happen at the grand opening then?
So at the grand opening on May 13th, from 10 to 12, we're going to have our official ribbon cutting. So that's open to anybody that wants to come. Certainly we're going to be inviting local influencers like yourself. And then Visit Lex and Commerce Lexington. We want to commemorate the day with a ribbon cutting, but the evening from 6 to 8 p.m. is going to be owners. It's going to be investors and then influencers like yourself that we want to give them the first sneak peek of the official launch of our location. So super exciting. That's going to redefine Lexington's distillery district to more of an entertainment district with Turner Commons that's going to merge with the distillery district that's on Manchester.
Right. And so what else can visitors expect? You're going to have cocktails as well as tastings?
Yeah, so you're going to be, if you want to do a full-blown tour, you can do the tour. We're going to have 3 different stations. That's more of a self-guided tour that kind of shows about the history of registered distillery number 1, the production piece, and then that next chapter piece. But then we'll take you through the wood finishing lab if you want to do a tasting with Dr. Gollahue, or you can see our how we produce it. And it's a research and development location, so we'll be playing around with different mash bills. And I'm trying to convince my team that we need to start making aquavit. And if you know anything about aquavit, it's the water of life, and it's a classification all to itself, very similar to gin, but you can make it from potatoes. You can make it from grain, and then you seep different spices in, similar that you would do with a gin product. But we'll be doing some really fun stuff. So after the tour, you can do a tasting of our core 4 products that are always on the shelf. You can actually thieve straight from the barrel and do a barrel tasting, a barrel proof tasting. And then we're going to have anywhere from 10 to 15 different experimental wood finishes. Not all wood finishes are created equal, Ed, as we know.
Yes.
And so, sometimes people want to taste some of the things that we've done, and we're like, we're never going to do this again. But it's that experiment piece that really helps drive the innovation for RD1. So, you can go up. We have a full cocktail bar. You can get neat pours of bourbon. If you want, any spirit, you'll be able to order it from the bar, cocktail, beer, wine. And then we're going to have a speakeasy. The speakeasy is really cool, right behind the bar. You'll be able to come in with, if you want 8 people to rent the speakeasy out, maybe on game day, or, you've got a bachelor party or bachelorette party and you want to have a private venue. That's a really nice, intimate location. We'll have an outdoor patio that will actually overlook a entertainment center that's going to be probably be built in about the next year and a half. And it's an indoor-outdoor 2,000 person capacity amphitheater, really super neat. So what we're seeing, and Ed, yeah, I know that you see this, is on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. It's bourbon and it's bourbon and an entertainment experience. It's bourbon and a 4-star restaurant. It's that experiential piece that we're continuing to put together. And I think that Lexington's going to have a unique opportunity with all the things with our distillery and other new folks coming on board in the Bourbon Trail. So super excited about that.
And speaking of 4-star restaurants, what are people going to do for food?
Great question. So we are going to have a lot of food. We're going to have, they haven't been able to tell me yet, but there's a upscale, high-end bar food restaurant. I can't tell you, I think it's Del Rey's. Is a caterer, and they will be right there on site. So you'll be able to order food that can be brought into the distillery. Outside food's welcome. If you want to come in and bring your own lunch bag, you can do that. But then there's a couple of other restaurants yet to be named that will be right next door to us. So there'll be lots of opportunity for food.
Do we know what the time frame is on all the other things there?
Yeah. The our building is the first one to be completed with the new build that Darren Turner is doing. But the building that's attached to ours, it is retrofitted and ready to go for any restaurateur that wants to come in. And then on the bottom level of that next door location is going to be an event venue. So if you want to have a large event, bring in 100, 150 people, that venue will be able to accommodate you.
Sounds like it's going to be great.
It's going to be so much fun. Yeah, I can't wait to get this open. It's just part of the next chapter of, the evolution of RD1 Spirits in Lexington.
And just a very quick review, you mentioned the core 4 spirits for people that aren't familiar with RD1.
Yeah.
If you want to let them know what those are.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. So the core 4 is our products that are always available and on the shelf. And so our Kentucky straight bourbon, it was made by Jacob Call. Jacob Call is an 8th generation master distiller. He initially worked at Green River, and a lot of the bottles that came from the barrels right now on the shelf are from Green River. But Jacob Call and my partner, Mike Tedderton, are owners of the Western Kentucky Distilling Company. So Jacob is continuing to lay down all of our new make. And so what we do is we take that Kentucky straight bourbon that Jacob Call made, and then the next 3 products that's part of our core 4 are wood finish expressions. With that same mash bill, we have a French oak that is 101 proof. The straight bourbon comes in at 98 proof. And then we have an Amburana Brazilian wood. It's very popular. It's actually 50% of our sales across the U.S. market. It's 110 proof, and it is a fan favorite. It's way outside the flavor wheel of a traditional bourbon. So think nutmeg, cinnamon, clove, allspice, kind of a ginger snap profile that then migrates over to a cinnamon apple, and then it transitions to a tropical. I get coconut on the finish. Some people get pineapple, but it's 110 proof, makes a great paper plane cocktail. Super incredible, or just, drink it neat or on the rocks like I do.
I'll have to try that in a paper plane. I don't think I've ever had Ambarana in a cocktail.
It is incredible. Think about, the flavors that you get from a paper plane. You bring in lemon, you bring in Amaro, and then what was that other one? I'm blanking on that other. So there's four components of a paper plane, but
it's Amaro Nonino.
Nonino, yes.
Yeah. It's the specific Amaro.
Yeah. So it is absolutely fabulous. A great paper plane. You really balance the spices with the fruit notes of the Ambarana. So absolutely terrific. And then the last one is a double oak and maple. Comes in at 99 proof, and it smells like the very essence of maple, but the palate is more butterscotch and a pecan note. This one is great for people that are kind of getting into bourbon, or those of us who like an upscale Manhattan or old fashioned. It makes a terrific smoked maple old fashioned.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I'll have to try that too. I've had them all neat. I don't think I've had any of them in a cocktail.
Well, come on over. When we
I'm going to come over before you start charging.
That's right. Yeah. Now's the time to come, man. So now you know, and they're open right now.
I know where I'm headed. And then lastly, with the opening, you've got a special bourbon that's going to be part of that.
Yeah. So we've got an LTO that's coming to market right now. Were you talking about the
12 year?
The 12 year. Yeah. So we have, for the commemoration of our, christening our new brand destination, we're coming out with a beautiful decanter and box that will house a 12-year Kentucky straight bourbon. It is from a legacy distillery. It's at barrel strength. It has wonderful notes. These are it's $7.99 a bottle. So I recognize it's a very expensive one, but it's going to come with the opportunity to come back and have Mark Stoops, one of our partners. Mark Stoops, the University of Kentucky football coach, is one of the original owners of RD1 Spirits, and so it's more to commemorate the opening. So there's only 250 bottles, gift shop only, and I've already secured a couple of bottles for myself. But so I think now we're down to 248 bottles.
So let me get this straight. If I go by now when you're not charging for things, I can get that bottle for free?
You cannot. You cannot. No, we can't. You can have it held for you, and then once we get our license, you'll be able to come by and pick it up after you pay the money for the bottle. Great question, though. I'm glad you asked.
Okay, Barry, and what else is new with RD1?
Yeah, so we are getting ready to launch another limited time offering. And what we're getting ready to sample this. It's an 8-year rye. They're all Kentucky straight whiskeys. So an 8-year rye, and then a 7 and 5-year Kentucky straight bourbon. And we finished this in Mizunara wood from Japan and French oak from France. And we're calling this LTO Sister Cities, because Lexington has sister cities in France and Japan. It's 102 proof. And I think what you're going to find is this one is very well balanced from the nose to the finish. All right, let's take a nose here. And I'm getting a lot of aromas. So for me, I'm getting a bit of some floral notes there. There's definitely some sweet notes, but the rye is not a characteristic rye, being an 8-year. So at this 102 proof, it's coming in, fairly well balanced with floral and sweet notes. You might get a little bit of spice, but it's not overwhelming.
No, I mean, I don't think I get rye spice
Yeah.
per se. I think I get it blending with those
Yeah.
woods because both Mizunara, I know people describe them all different ways, but French oak, I know a lot of people say chocolate, but I always perceive that more as a sort of a drier oak kind of thing,
Yeah.
which I've learned a lot of people
Yeah.
perceive as chocolate.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which I find very interesting when people say, I like to know, because we all taste the same thing. So if someone says chocolate and I say it's like this dry oak, I like to make that association because then you can relate it to what people say.
Yeah.
So I get that, and I always get it's a little bit of an unusual kind of wood spice from the Mizunara, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's all in there, and it's blending with the rye spice, so you're not getting like that classic clove or any of the citrus or some of those other flavors.
Yeah.
And then it's got some vanilla and caramel that are coming out as well. But the nose is very nice.
Yeah, I think the nose is a bit of a balance, but I think that as we go in for the taste here, we'll get some of the complexities and the balance that we're getting from the aroma.
Well, it does have some of that sweeter fruit in the background. You said the bazooka.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is sort of in the back for me. It has some
It's a
that
hint.
little fruitiness, but I get more of those other flavors up front, and then a little bit of cedar as well and pine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a very nice nose.
All right, let's go in. So at 102 proof, it's very easy on the front end. On the mid palate for me, I'm getting a balance of sweet. I think for me and the floral. But for me, there's this Japanese incense. It's not a Kentucky hug like a Booker Kentucky hug. It's more of a light
sumo wrestler hug.
Sumo wrestler, and it's just a whisper of the sumo wrestler hug.
A gentle sumo.
Gentle. Thank you. Yeah. But it's there, and I think lingering for me, I get, and you mentioned it, kind of that bazooka sweet note. But it's very faint, and that marries with that sumo gentle hug.
It's very easy to drink. It's got the flavors are getting fuller and sweeter to me now that I've had multiple sips. My first sips, the palate was not particularly sweet, but it's getting a little sweeter now.
Yeah.
But it's got that nice wood spice that's coming from those two different woods within it. So it's got a very nice complexity. Yeah. And then the finish is sort of a continuation. It lasts for quite a while. I mean, I think it gets a little drier like they all do towards the end. Yeah. But yeah, it's very, very enjoyable. Did you say the price?
I did not. So the price of this is only $69.
Yeah, which is crazy for a limited time offering.
And there's 1,500 cases. So we will be sending this out to the U.S. market. So every market is going to get some of these case goods, but at $59, I think that what we're experiencing here is a very well balanced and put together blend of an 8-year rye and a 5 and 7 year bourbon, and I love the proof point. I think that 102 proof point is going to allow people like you and I who have palates that we've drank a lot of bourbon. It still has enough character.
Not today.
No, not today. But what I'm implying is that we've accommodated our taste receptors to be able to accept a higher proof and a higher spice character. So for us, 102 is probably like a novice drinking 80 proof. Most people when they first get into drinking whiskey really need that under 100 proof. So this one's kind of a balance at 102 proof to get novices drinking this as well as the bourbon nerds like us alike.
For drinking this proof, it's pretty mellow. I mean, I would have probably guessed a little lower proof. What gives it? The only thing that would have made me think the higher proof is the spice that's coming from the wood, really, not that's coming from the alcohol. So I think that it still should. So it's a different kind of strength that's coming from it.
I agree, and I think the uniqueness of that French oak that is more on my palate, more sweet in flavor composition. The Mizunara wood, I'm very new to using that in a finish. it's a very characteristic, the kind of spices that you get with the Mizunara, and there really is this this pleasing, warm incense note. It's not overpowering, but on the finish, you definitely get this sense of a heat coming from the Mizunara.
Yeah, I mean, I have not had a ton of them. I've had a number of them because there aren't all that many of them out there, although it seems to be increasing a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think the first one I had tried was Angel's Envies. That was like 4 years ago already.
Wow.
Wasn't it? It was one of their LTOs.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really good at the time, and I hadn't really tasted that flavor. And it's another one where once you have that impression of what it tastes like, it starts becoming more recognizable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so super excited to have this one come to market, and we're currently working with our tasting team to develop a fall LTO. So we really believe that these 1,500 cases are going to be here and gone within the next 4 to 8 weeks, and then really working on that fall release for October, November, December, and we got our tasting panel working feverishly to get that one out.
Yeah, I mean, I think these should fly off the shelves. Yeah. I mean, that is an excellent price point for the age and the finishing.
Yeah.
Very much in line or better than I think average nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, ultimately you've got to have a product that's approachable, affordable, and is liked by multiple people, not just the bourbon nerds like us, but, people all alike that want to experience something unique, and we're not going to break the bank and having them buy a bottle.
No, absolutely. So I didn't realize there was going to be. So that's the plan, 2 LTOs per year going forward?
It is, yeah. What we don't want to do is we don't want to overload the market, but we've been advised by our distributor and our broker sales team is that 2 is probably a good number to have, and make them approachable, make them affordable, and make them unique enough that they make an impact to the market.
So you're going to time that for Bourbon Heritage Month and the Kentucky Bourbon Festival?
Yes. Yeah. So the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, they did pick out a barrel this year, and I want to say it was an Amberana. I believe that's what they chose. You were there, weren't you?
No.
You missed that one?
Yeah, I missed that.
I wasn't there either. So I think it was an Amberana barrel, and then I'm looking to try to continue to do activations throughout the Kentucky Bourbon Festival that happens every year. We love Bardstown. We love the Bourbon Festival, and it really brings tens of thousands of people to Bardstown over that weekend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and all the tickets except for a few Sunday ones sold out the pre-release day and then the actual day.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The general admission has never sold out like that.
To me, I'm thinking, well, there should be more opportunity for more people to come if we're selling out in a day or two.
Yeah. But it's a happy medium. I mean, but all of general admission sold out. And normally that doesn't sell out till August. And it sold out the first day it was available to the general public. But the capacity, I mean, you've been to Bardstown. I mean, they've filled up as much of that space as they can.
They do.
And the thing is for the VIP stuff that, there's just so big the VIP tent can be. There's just so much that can be in there.
Yeah.
Likewise, there's just so many distilleries, and they're always working on, changing the layout and everything. Yeah. It's a work in progress. I think, in a way, they're a victim of their own success. This has grown like crazy, and demand for it. I mean, this was just unbelievable. Nobody expected everything to sell out within the first day. So
I love that. I think it's a good problem to have, but I think, looking at the future, they may have to get creative with how the festival is enlarged, if it even can be, but it is a good problem to have. I love that it's sold out, but I feel for the people that didn't get their tickets.
Yeah. And the expansion issue, I think maybe they could expand temporarily and go to a couple more days to accommodate people, assuming people aren't going to go for like 5 days if it's a 5-day festival.
Right.
But spatially, there's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere. Yeah. They've maximized their area. Yeah.
I mean, it's growing and growing, but the demand is so huge. There's just no way to to keep up.
That's hard. Wow, but super exciting.
But in answer to your picture, no, I was questioning. No, I was not at the pick. It was actually in Bardstown. I was in Lexington at the time.
Yeah. I love it. Well, Ed, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be one of your first featured guests. Hopefully you had a good experience with the LTO. And
yeah, I enjoyed it very much. Thank you for sharing it with me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, everyone. Well, thanks for joining us, and be sure to check out the new RD1 home place.
Love it. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, Barry.
I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Be sure to like and follow us at your preferred podcast provider so that you don't miss an episode, and don't forget to tell all your friends too. You can also head over to bourbonobsessed.com and check out some of our over 300 bourbon reviews and over 50 distillery write-ups. Finally, I can also be found on Instagram at Bourbon_Obsessed and on Facebook at Bourbon Obsessed. Have a great weekend. Cheers!